The story of Cielo Canosa. I run into the track one day for my job. Behind the window, my colleague, as I entered, had a very shocked look upon his face. He proceeded to tell me there was a table of people, and every half hour they've been coming up and betting fairly large amounts on a horse that seemed to have no chance in the very last race at Del Mar San Diego racetrack that day. The whole world is watching Del Mar San Diego in the summer. Cielo Canosa was the horse's name. He did not figure in any way, shape, or form in this race among the 10 contestants. His only race before in life, before being shipped to the big time in San Diego, was a measly run around a little bush track in Grants Pass, Oregon, where the trackman took time to comment he had trailed throughout. Any experienced bettor would note, firstly, when perusing the possibilities of this number 5 Cielo Canosa in the last race at Del Mar that day, who the hell horse comes from Grants Pass? The horse should have been about 150 to 1, except for these fairly large amounts, $300 here, 100 there, 400 there, that this one table continued to bet on the number 5 with seemingly no chance. They were not the best looking bunch. I entered the track as the horses crossed the wire in the 8th race at Del Mar that day. Cielo Canosa won by 10 lengths. And I, after dismissing my partners from behind the window, my colleagues, with their shocked faces, was left to pay these people this table and their hundreds and hundreds of dollars they had on a win on their 48 to 1 horse. And I knew something was going on. That was owed them $144,000. I made them checks. I made them many checks. But I knew something was going on. There's no rule that I should take their identification when I write them very, very large checks to the tune of $144,000. But I made one up at the time. I wanted their identification. And it came in handy the next day when the FBI showed up. Everyone in the world knew this was an unusual reversal of form, leading to the profit of few at the behest of many. The stewards were called in, the California Horse Protective Association was called in, the FBI was called in. I had the evidence, and we had the people's name. Now, in the course of writing these many checks to these people, I forgot to sign 2 of them, and I had to look through the phone book the next day, trying to find this lady. I'm sure her check would be cashed, but I want to make it nice and have her for a second visit. I owed this woman maybe $28,000, and I wanted to see if she still had the check. Yes, I reached her by phone after scrutinizing the white pages from Medford, Oregon, and matching it to her name. She quickly responded and returned to the track the next day with those 2 checks. By the next day, the Daily Racing Form, the Bible of horse racing, and its daily news had printed an investigation had started in its 2nd page article about the winning of Cielo Canosa, so unusually, now nationally known news from my window, as this woman and her friend with their prison tattoos walks into the place to get her check signed. Me and my buddy, noticing a moment of frivolity, we opened the racing forum to the article that had nailed their ass. This nice woman looked at the article and she went, "Oh shit!" and jumped back about 3 feet. I signed her checks and sent them on her way. As time progressed, the investigation unfolded. The trainer had been claiming that he invented a new water mill for his horses. And in this water treadmill, they could prosper and improve their form. The stewards didn't go for it. He was removed from the track forever. The participants all copped to their crime. However, a lot of money was missing. I had noticed them playing it on Oregon video lottery machines to a fairly well, both day and night. Most of the money, many of the monies that I had gave them. Cielo Canosa, however, the horse at Grants Pass was a ringer. That was no horse. And how that happens, you'll have to figure it out. But the Cielo Canosa that run at Del Mar in San Diego, one of the major tracks in the whole world, running that day in the 8th race, was a very fine horse, worth at least $50,000, with a fine saddle and a fine bridle and a fine rider, who deservedly rode him to win that day. And he went on to be a nice horse, favored in many races and won more than his share. He had the heart that those who tried to set him up and tried to set us up at the racetrack, well, they lacked it. That is the story of Cielo Canosa.